and welcome back to KXAN Plus. If you're watching us live, thanks for joining us, and good morning. If you're not, thank you for being here, and thanks for tuning in on our streaming app. Today we have a different show than usual on Mondays, but a fun show, and it's our traffic updates with our KXAN traffic anchor, Erica Brennes. Erica, thank you for joining me. How are you doing?
Good. Hopefully it's going to be fun. I mean,
Yes.
I think talking traffic is fun. You know, I think everyone likes to gripe about traffic.
Being in traffic is not fun, but talking about it is interesting, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I never thought I would become like such a traffic nerd, but I definitely am. And here's one thing I say about traffic is that it's kind of like weather and that it impacts everyone. In fact, mobility impacts everyone. How we get to and from where we need to go and our access to quality transportation literally impacts our everyday life and can in many ways impact our future. So it's why I have, grown over the last, 12 years to be quite the traffic nerd.
The best traffic nerd. And this morning, if you're driving to work, if you're dropping off some kiddos, this stream is going to affect you, and this information can likely help you. We're going to be talking about the exclusive look you had with the I-183 North project. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I got a really cool opportunity last week to meet up with the Central Texas Regional Mobility Authority, which is the entity that is managing the 183 North project. That is the project that is in North and Northwest Austin. If you drive on Mopac near 183 in North Austin, you can't miss it. And so what they allowed us to do was to go on to this new ramp, okay, that's going to connect 183 and Mopac. Now, it is going to be a toll lane, so you have to pay to see the view that I got to see eventually. So one of the big stories, it was interesting because there was a social media post that talked about that the 183 North project is really behind. And I reached out to them and I said, what's up with this? You know, this entity is saying, this news organization is saying that the 183 North project is really behind.
Yeah.
And they said, well, yes and no. They were behind from the standpoint of an internal construction deadline that they call substantial completion. So anytime there's these massive projects, there's all these different deadlines, right? That the Central CTRMA, or maybe it's TxDOT, they set with the construction company. And so one of those deadlines was for September 7th, right in early September, to have that direct connector ramp complete. It's not complete. Now, part of that also was that there would be a fine implemented. I believe it was either $125 or $150,000. I'll have to go double check my math.
Per day?
Per day.
Wow.
The other thing that's interesting is that the way that they explained it was like they sort of settle up at the end. So yes, it is possible they could be facing that amount of a fine every single day that they are past that September 7th mark.
Which has already passed.
Yeah. And they said, but it doesn't necessarily mean they are going to. They have to really wait for the debt. It's kind of like anything, right? You have a massive house renovation project. You're given a budget. Sometimes it goes over budget. Sometimes it goes over but under. Sometimes it takes longer. Sometimes it takes, it gets done early. So they really wait for the dust to settle to decide how much of this fine will we implement onto the construction company.
Wow.
So yes, there is a fine with some caveats. What I like about this opportunity is to be able to explain that, which you don't always get my broadcast story is like maybe 2 minutes long.
Yeah.
So I don't always get the chance to explain it. A social media post doesn't always get to explain it. But the other part in regard to it being behind, we'll see, but the CTRMA says it is not behind from the standpoint of what the public will be able to utilize. I said, well, okay, when is it going to be done?
So that means the public is going to be utilizing it while it's still under construction.
So that's a really interesting question. Okay, when they're doing a construction project, sometimes it'll be like part of it includes, shared use paths and all this landscaping. Well, they'll do whatever they can to open it as soon as possible. And then maybe they'll work on the landscaping afterwards just to get it open to the public. That doesn't necessarily seem like that's going to be the case this time. They do not have a date. All we know is early 2026. That's soon. I mean, we only have like 3 months left of 2025. They've never said a date. They've never said if it's January, February, March. That's kind of my personal cutoff. When you tell me early in the year, I'm like,
January,
you have
February,
until about
March.
March. Like you have Q1 to get it done. And then we start saying what's happening. So they hope in the next month at their October board meeting to be able to give some more information as far as a date. They're just working with the construction company hand in hand to see how quickly is this ramp going to be done. And by the way, it's a separate contract. This is also interesting. There's the contractor that's building, and then there's the actual road and the ramps and the lanes, and then there's another contractor that's going to come in and do the toll part of it. So to put in the toll, the things that you drive through and the cameras.
The cameras.
So two different. So it's really interesting. Like, and why I find it fascinating is like people will gripe about toll lanes. Well, it's really like the funding for construction is really a lot of money. I mean, we're talking sometimes billions at a minimum. I mean, just the 183 North project alone is $612 million. Well, the state doesn't necessarily have that kind of funding. This is just Austin. This is one project in Austin. There's got to be money for every single town and city in the state of Texas. So the toll comes into effect to then repay that money. So it's like, yes, it's annoying to pay a toll, but would you rather have that road or not have that road? I mean, you have people who land on all, opinions on all of that. And at least in this case, you'll still have the option for free lanes on 183. This like you have on Mopac right now. On Mopac, you still have free lanes with the option to hop on a toll. That's going to be the same as the 183 North. It's not necessarily the same on like 183A. Once you get to Cedar Park, you're either on the service road dealing with traffic lights,
or you're on the toll.
That I can see. If I drove that every single day, that would be annoying for sure. I know people, I've talked to people before, they just budget it into their life. Like they're like, I know that I have to put $100 every single month towards tolls, and they just factor it in like with their paycheck. So, but it'll be interesting. So I will be following that one closely because I don't want you to think, that it's not something that we're not tracking.
And we definitely are making sure that it is not past its completion date. There actually is not a completion date.
There's not, but they've always said early 2026. So when that other article came out with another news organization, I said, they're behind. Hold on. I would know this. It was this internal deadline that they were behind on. So we'll see.
We will see.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is the view that you got when you went up there. I remember you taking pictures with the
we
best.
We have a bunch of pictures on the web story with this. If you want to take a look, it's pretty cool. I mean, what you're looking at right now will be the southbound 183 to southbound Mopac toll lane.
These are the pictures you're talking about, right?
So obviously it's still a massive construction zone. So there is still a lot of work to do, but they're further along than you realize. But it'll be interesting to watch. But you can check out
that exclusive look video is also in your article.
I was really grateful to be able to have that. I always try to be really kind to all of those people. I mean, they have 500 people working on this project.
And they're up high. It's scary.
I'm telling you, it felt a little
woozy.
I was like, I like being in a car more than just walking on it. Anyways, that's the 183 North project.
But there's plenty more of traffic updates around the city that we can talk about.
I wanted to go over some other things really quickly. This is also a CTRMA project, also a toll, the 290 toll extension. So you can give your online feedback through October 10th. There were 2 in-person meetings last week about this. So right now you can use the 290 toll from Manor into Austin. Wow. And that is one of those situations where you don't have a choice. You're either on the toll
or you're on the service road. Yeah.
And the talk is to expand that, and it would be the same sort of footprint, a toll or a service road.
Wow.
So they really want to hear from you. But CTRMA wants to potentially build out the 290 toll going all the way into Elgin. And that area has expanded greatly. I mean, you have so much growth in Manor, business growth, residential growth, and so we'll see what happens here. This is not necessarily a done deal, and they obviously want to hear from you. And you would be surprised, the changes that they're able to make when they get Feedback from residents.
And when residents have that feedback, how do they get it to them?
So it's through this online, if you search on our website 290 toll extension, or you can either do 290 toll main, or you'll be able to pop it up, and we have links to that to give your feedback. So online through October 10th, if you didn't get to go to those in-person meetings last week, you're able to fill out, a whole questionnaire and all that stuff, and give them their feedback about what you think about that.
That's interesting because it's important. Our feedback is what helps build these things. Truly. Or design them, right?
Don't underestimate what a call to 311 can do. And I'll talk about that in a second. We can keep going because I know I've got a lot to talk about. Hey, remember, God, at this point, it might have been a month ago, but weeks ago when
the first game,
that truck hit
Georgetown.
Yes. Yeah. Do you remember? It was a truck carrying a construction vehicle, and I want to say the clearance was like 15 feet or something, and it hit it like 18 feet. So this is several feet above the height of that bridge. Unfortunately, also, there was a man killed in that. The concrete that came off the bridge hit his truck, and he was in critical condition for days, and unfortunately, he died from his injuries. So sad. And so part of that is they have to rebuild this bridge, the 29 bridge over 35 in Georgetown. So there's going to be, again this week, overnight lane closures. Southbound 35 will be closed. I do believe there's still lane reductions on 29 that are just ongoing. But as they work on this, they have southbound 35 closed from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. every night, overnight this week.
So every day.
And it's overnight, so they try to do minimal impacts on, they don't do it during rush hour. Yeah. They don't have to, they try. Okay, so then I'm going to give you another update. So I have this series called What's Driving You Crazy on Your Drive. And I did a story about Old Torf and First Street in South Austin. And I had someone message me and say, I got another one for you. Let's talk Old Torf and Parker, which is a very busy intersection on the east side of 35. I used to work downtown, and I would sometimes use this and wiggle my way on that east side.
I use this right now.
Okay, so it's under construction, right?
It is, lots of construction.
For a while. So I looked into this because someone emailed me and said, I've got What's Driving Me Crazy, here's what it is. So Old Torf and Parker, from what I understand, has been under construction since last November. So almost a year. It's an Austin water project. I will say it's supposed to be done at the end of October.
Of this month?
Yes. Well, it's almost October, but yeah, it's September 29th when we're recording this. So we'll see. That's their second extension, has been into the month of October. So
well, fingers crossed, because it's making me angry every morning.
Have you driven through the one at Old Torf and First?
No.
If you're down there in South Austin, girl. One lane in some cases. The sidewalks busted up. That's for a Google fiber project.
Sidewalk busted up.
And then literally, and it looks like, from what I can tell, it's like all of it goes down to one lane. And a lot of people use First to get into downtown. Yeah. So, oh my God. Okay.
That sounds like a headache.
And they didn't really have a good completion date. I need to follow up on that. It was really confusing how who I had to all go through to get this data. But so that's that. One more. What's driving you crazy on your drive? Stratford Drive, which is kind of going to tease what we're going to talk about later this week, which is ACL. So Stratford Drive runs along that like west side of Zilker Park. There's beautiful homes back there.
It loops into Barton Springs Road, right?
Yes. Although I don't know that technically you turn onto Stratford. I think you might turn onto Lou Neff officially. But it's back there. Stratford is like that backside. You can like park under Mopac to jog the bridge, trail and all that stuff.
That's pretty much where a lot of people park for ACL, right?
You can't actually park there for ACL. That's their hub for
employees.
And like loading and unloading for all of the, like right now, if you drive by, it's already a complete work zone.
Wow.
But I had someone email and say the paving, like that the road right there is so torn up. And anyways, what I found out was that, so the city has a list of roadways that it's filed under the fiscal year 2025 scheduled maintenance, which is that text I have there. They said it is not on their list of scheduled maintenance for the Pavement Operations Division. So two things. We'll talk ACL obviously later this week.
Yes.
But the other part is that this is where, again, 311 comes into play.
We need to be making those
Call
calls.
311. Y'all, I can't even tell you how often I am picking up and calling 311. You can also just go onto the portal and send an email. They'll email you back. They'll look into it. They'll email you. Like, I'm telling you, it works. So don't sleep on 311. Truly. I mean, it's awesome.
Yeah, you want to see a change? You need to
Call.
put
Let
that
them know.
request in, right?
There might not have been someone with the city driving this particular stretch in a year. You just don't know. And so, or well, you know, they may not know.
They don't know.
Make them aware. I called about, there's a turn into KXAN at 15th and West Avenue. And I said, y'all, I sit at this light for like 90 seconds at 4 o'clock in the morning. Like, come on. And they fixed it. They fixed the timing. And so
That's
now
good.
I don't have to sit there maybe 15 seconds. I'm like, love it.
Boom, boom.
Anyways.
There should not be a stop that long that early in the
At
morning.
4 o'clock. I know. That's what I said. So, but yeah. And then later this week, I'm going to come back and chat with you about ACL transportation.
Yes, it's 2 weekends in October. Everyone is involved. If you're going to ACL, you are going to be impacted by this traffic. So please tune in on Thursday. We'll be back with an ACL traffic update.
And let me plug this really fast.
Yes.
This is how you get in touch with me. At Erica Brennes TV, or you can always email me, erica.brennes@kxan.com. But send me your what's driving you crazy, and I love to hear from you. And if you also ever have like a traffic tip, if you're like, something's going on this morning commute, let me know about it.
Yeah, if you're already aware with our KXAN Plus originals here in the KXAN Plus studio, Eric and I are going to try to create a traffic one that will happen weekly. So please utilize her social medias to send any of those traffic updates or headaches that you may be having, right? Well, Erica, thanks so much for joining us. I do want to tease one more time your article, your exclusive article that is on our website, kxan.com. What can our viewers get out of that video that's added into the article?
You can actually hear from CTRMA. They also talk about some challenges. I mean, we are entering those winter months.
Yes,
we
are.
So that gets a little trickier. What you would think that like doing construction in the summer would be really hard.
What is this picture?
I don't know. That's something. That's
I think
a
it's an
tease for
ad.
something else. I know. But they say actually it's winter. It's harder because the cement dries faster in the heat versus, trying to dry cement when it's cold and damp. So anyways, I thought that was interesting. So we talk about that and then just some more pictures and that sort of thing. But it got a lot of comments on social because people have very strong opinions about tolls and construction, and there's a lot of it around Austin.
But we want to hear those opinions, so please share them.
Just be nice.
Share them to us.
Me.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Erica, and we will see you later this week.
Okay, bye.